Bengal tigers are extremely unique and so dynamic. Oh god, oh my god, no. Along with having so many incredible rares that no doubt many of you will want to hunt for, their diamonds seem to be pretty hard to come by. So in this video, we'll explore where to find tigers, how to find them consistently, and how to best bring them down when the hunter becomes the hunted. Now before we do anything, there is a very important principle that I want to make clear, and we're going to do this in real time without any edits so that you can best understand how it works. So we're at this lake, and you can see the only drink zones I have are for black buck and water buffalo. But if you notice over there, there is a drinking tiger. So as we spot this level 6 male, that drink zone is now added to our map, and Bengal tiger are on the bottom of that list. Now, we're going to go ahead and try to make the shot. Hopefully we can just hard shot him. Didn't quite get that, but it should be into a lung. Now he's going down. And as he drops, we're actually going to watch that zone go away. That ends up being really important for how tiger hunting works. Now, when he dies, it might not disappear immediately, but we already see that zone is gone. Why is that important? Because tigers are actually going to move when you get your respawn. The tiger that respawns in place of this one, in all likelihood is going to drink somewhere completely different. Still within that home range, but it may be down the river, it may be over here, to the east. They move around a lot, and I wanted you to see that because it makes a huge difference in how you approach tiger hunting. And just for the sake of it, got a 50.01 gold out of him, just a little bit left of the heart. But the important part is, we see that just because we've discovered that drink zone for the tiger in this location now, that zone does not persist. And the next time, we may see one completely different, and it may be days before another tiger drinks at this particular lake. This core concept is cause for a different type of approach, meaning a different type of guide. A blueprint, if you will. So let's start with locations. I've got two maps here. This one shows every tiger encounter I had over the course of about 5 days. Many of these dots would include several encounters, as quite a few are from drink zones, but plenty of encounters occurred while hunting other animals outside tiger drink time, meaning those came from feed or rest zones. This particular map is not necessarily meant for a use as a check every spot I have highlighted type map, but more as a generalized concept of where the 16 distinct home ranges for Bengal tigers are across the southern half of Sundar Patan. Of course, we can't know precisely where these ranges are or the exact size of them, but you can imagine something along these lines being the basic idea. The next map features encounters only in drink zones. This shows every location I encountered tigers drinking over that 5-day stretch. You might notice it's way more than 16 spots. This shows how the tigers will move as you shoot them like we talked about, and as new ones spawn in their place, go to different locations to drink. It's quite typical that you'll shoot a tiger at one location and not see another one there for quite some time, even as you're shooting more tigers. And of course, keep in mind, everyone's map is different. Just because I haven't seen a tiger drinking at some of these lakes in Tarai and Fahad, doesn't mean that you won't see them there. On top of that, it is possible for multiple tigers to drink at the same lake. This doesn't mean the home ranges are crossed or bugged, it's just the random chance as respawns move around that a few tigers from home ranges near that lake eventually all end up drinking there. This might seem trivial, but it's actually extremely important, and a large part about what I wanted to get across today. In my opinion, the best way to effectively hunt tigers, especially for trophies, is twofold. First, anytime you get attacked by a tiger, be sure to take it down if possible. Only having 16 on the map means you want to make the most of each opportunity for the next tiger to be a rare or diamond as it respawns. But more importantly, if you're really after tigers, if you're targeting them heavily, hunting their drink zones, trying to get trophy tigers, then the most important thing is to hunt the entirety of their range regularly, which of course is a major time commitment. Since they almost always will move their zone from one kill to the next, you'll really have to check a lot of locations. But leaving places such as the river or little hidden lakes unchecked seems to quite quickly result in multiple tigers drinking there as you hunt the surrounding areas, finding fewer and fewer each hunt. I actually had 4 tigers drinking at the same lake at one point. I wasn't aware they drank there, and when I found it and took them out, I began finding them in the places they seem to have abandoned in the prior hunts. You can imagine, if a quarter of your tigers are now inhabiting an area you aren't hunting, it's not exactly good for your chances of finding that trophy. Immediately following that, I got my first rare tiger on stream. And in addition, my diamond tiger came not long after I begrudgingly hunted the entire river, killing 4 or 5 tigers along the length of it. It takes forever to check it thoroughly, but it's clear those efforts can pay off big time. My advice for tigers is this: if you simply want to have a chance of being attacked by one as you hunt other species, stick to the Terai region in the lower half of Bahad, and you're bound to find, or be found, by tigers every so often as you pass through their home ranges. If you're gonna go after tigers in search of diamonds and rares, the drink stones are the most consistent way to find them, but at least in my experience, it's far from a quick jump around to a few tents and eliminate your entire population. Again, everyone's map will be different to some degree with zone locations, and the lakes that have had the most tigers for me might be the opposite for you. You could perhaps set up tents at most of the lakes where tigers drink, but you'll still want to check those lakes and ponds that you don't put tents at, and of course check the river every so often. Really, when you start to notice you can't find as many tigers in your normal spots, they're probably on the river or at some other water source that you don't check as a part of your routine. And finally, don't get frustrated by infrequent encounters. This isn't like anything else in the game. If you kill 4 tigers, you've taken out 25% of the map's population. There simply just aren't that many out there, so sticking with it and committing to checking those annoying to check locations is key to taking down those trophy tigers. Now I want to spend a little time explaining how to best survive a tiger attack. Before I even start that, the first thing is to say sometimes the tiger's just gonna win. I've been ambushed a couple of times now where I've heard a growl and hardly had time to grab my gun before I'm dead. That's part of the fun. But for slower stocks, we're once again going to be doing this in real time, so I can show you what I like to do and maybe adapt to what the tiger does a little bit better. So we've got a level 7 drinking out here, and the first thing we need is to make him aggressive. So generally speaking, if you don't go too fast, they will go aggressive. And to best demonstrate this, I'm pretty much just going to let him do his thing. So I'm just going to spin around. I'm going to let him get into the brush. You can hear him growling back there. And hopefully we can officially lose sight of him for at least a minute. We'll even walk up into here to make it a little bit more difficult to see where he's at. Now, of course, he's coming right down the shoreline, so we'll just kind of go up into here. The point is to kind of mimic a situation where you've got a tiger going aggressive, but you don't know where it is. So he is kind of slowly stalking along there along the shoreline still. But I think if we get up into here, we can get him completely out of sight. Now, the most important thing when you hear that growl is to try to maybe get to like a somewhat open area and then just stop. What you can do is listen for the footsteps, and I can hear it. If we're really quiet, you can just hear him sneaking along there. It's so cool to hear the growl as well. And then obviously the important part is, once you locate him, make a decent shot and potentially survive when they come at you. That was actually kind of cool. That part of it was unplanned. So it's obviously the most fun, at least for me, when they actually lunge at us like that. And then, you know, call in some backups with water buffalo. But if you're just trying to kill tigers, you don't need to wait until they come after you. Once you get eyes on them, make that shot, get it through the lungs, and you know you have another respawn coming your way. So in conclusion, my blueprint guide comes down to this. Focus your energies in the core areas tigers tend to drink, but be willing to explore surrounding locations, especially if you're struggling. They might just be drinking in an unexpected location. Only hunting a few spots can probably work, but my best results have come from hitting the map as thoroughly as possible. Your mileage may vary. The most important thing is to be persistent, and to be willing to spend that time checking water sources you don't expect. I actually amended my location maps while making this video. One of the tigers we encountered was at a place I hadn't yet seen. There just really are a ton of locations tigers will drink at, and I guarantee there are some that I haven't yet seen, and therefore aren't on my maps. Just remember, when it feels like tigers aren't respawning, they are. They're just likely in a place that you're not checking, or maybe you don't even expect they can drink at. This is different than anything we have in Call of the Wild. So most importantly, be thorough, enjoy it, and as always, ask any questions in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them as we go along. Thank you for watching, best of luck on your trophy tiger hunts, and I'll see you next time.